Yeah, well, I'm glad you're here. Because I was about to just talk to a camera for 40 minutes. Um, I just came off another webinar, so I was like running a little
Yeah,
behind. But
cool.
all good. Well, you said you had a hard time coming up with questions. Do you have any
Mm-hmm.
questions about process and stuff?
Let me get clocked out.
Yeah. Do your thing. I'm gonna just pull up a Google Doc. Maybe I might just like include this
Okay.
with the new lyrics of this new song. And
I actually type in the right user. I did. I'm like, is that my email address? It's really slow. Um, all right, I might have to. It might be screaming. No, there it goes. I was like, it might be just screaming that my connection is really bad on the computer, which it shouldn't be because I'm at a university, but
yeah,
it can
no
be.
worries. No worries at all.
Got it.
Need to dip in, dip out. I'm gonna record this anyway, so like if you do need to go, like don't feel obligated to.
I already told the fam. I was like, I'll be home late.
Awesome.
It's like I'm just staying at work. I'm just gonna do this here.
I've done that before.
Yep, it works out better.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to just have the desk set up too and make a clean break for the day when it's all over.
Yep. All right. So yeah, this moved my time to 5:15 and have to back it up.
I'm gonna just delete this. I'm gonna include a version of this. Let's see here. La 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 la. Let's just get rid of that. Draft. Cool. I can actually link this right into
The video thing.
video. Yeah.
All right. 8 hours. We're good. And she is on her own. Yay! That was all the work stuff.
Oh, I can actually put a file in there. That's interesting.
Huh?
I just realized I can put a file. I'm gonna drop a link to a Google document. Do you use Google
Okay.
Docs?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So I'm just gonna put that there. You don't have to look at it,
Okay.
and if you want to. So yeah, I guess I'll just talk about the new song because in terms of a segue into
Huh?
the process. So I uh, I have had this tune floating around for a very long time. Like usually on the road, my current process, as it's been for the last couple of years, is I'll be driving, I'll be walking, and I will hear a tune in my head, and I build a whole song based off of that little like one clip, you know. So I had this like rolling around in the empty can for a long time, just bouncing around, and then at the beginning of this year, I finally decided to sit down and try to make something out of it, and I started going along, and I usually that one part is usually the chorus. It's not always the case, but usually that's kind of how it starts for me. Just kind of a jumping off point. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I played tons of different melodies and different ways to do this, and then finally it just clicked. So the tune was, it went um, it went da 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 down down da 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 down down down, and I just had that like melody going all the time, and then somehow out of that melody came the words "I won't let you down." I don't really know. It's kind of an odd way to write songs, but I always liken it to sort of a melody is like a divining rod for what you're feeling on the inside, and so I've learned in the last couple of years to start paying attention to the mumbles that come out. A lot of people do this when they write songs; they'll just write in gibberish until they have like
Mm-hmm.
actual lyrics. But I've started to pay a little bit more attention to the gibberish, and I'm like, okay, I won't let you down. That's interesting. So what is this song really about? So I just started kind of building from there, and I realized that one of the main things that I've been carrying around with me for a while is this idea of, you know, not letting people down, literally. Like, am I doing enough? I put out a Christmas album. I put out an original album. Finally, it took me years to get over a writer's block to finally do that. And there was this period where I felt like I finally was back on track and able to put things out. And then I go back to the well to start writing, and all of a sudden we're in summertime, and half the year's gone, and I'm like, oh my God, am I doing enough? Am I? Do people feel like like I'm worth being invested in? And I know that like some of these are just like internal anxiety, sort of irrational things, but from that real emotion kind of came the beginnings of the song. So I kind of have in like the first verse here. Some say I say a little too much sometimes, and some say that's all I'm really doing right. Um, for a long time, I've been preaching this idea of taking action and not talking about things. But I feel like humans have a tendency to talk about what they want to do. They have a tendency to voice their dreams and not go through with them. And this has been a lifelong struggle for me. So I kind of started with that line, and that's when the song really started to kind of come together. So between you and me and whoever else watches this video later, this started off as sort of an ode to you guys, like anybody who supports me, anyone who believes in me. Just sort of the responsibility I feel to do something and to progress. And then I started kind of playing with this idea of, you know, if I'm never bigger than a 60-person circle who likes my music, and only 10 of those people check in forever, is that enough for me? Is that enough for you guys? You know, will everybody be like, oh, like it's sad that, you know, like nothing ever happened with this guy's career? So these are all like real, honest neuroses that I'm dealing with, and I was thinking about that internalized sort of feeling, and as I started to kind of write a song that was sort of like a letter to everybody who supported me, that's just sort of like, hey, I want you to know I'm going to do my best regardless of what happens, and just knowing that you support me means the absolute world. It started turning into something else, and it kind of started reading like something somebody would say to a longtime lover, like somebody who's kind of had their back from day one, and sort of about being supported and being believed in and being loved is enough. It's more important than anything else. It's more important than becoming super famous or having all the money in the world. So it's kind of tropey, but that's sort of what it turned into. And one thing I really like to do with my songs is I don't usually talk to people what they're about because I like them to be interpretive. But it's funny to me that this started off as sort of a candid letter to anybody who's ever believed in me, and it's sort of turned into kind of a love song a little bit. And I think that's the fun thing about music is it can mean different things to different people. So as I kind of refined the lyrics and started like thinking about it through that lens, I'm like I would love it if somebody heard this song and were like, that's the relationship I have with my husband or my wife or my mom or my dad or something like that, where someone believes in you, and that's enough to get people to want to just follow the dreams and go for the gold, basically. So that's kind of really where it starts coming together, and that's why like, some of the lines are more on the nose about, you know, and even when times get tough, I know I'll always have your love, and that alone is enough. I'm gonna make you proud, and the chorus is I won't let you down. So that's kind of how that came together. And then the other way I usually write songs is I usually write half of them, and this probably comes from the time when I used to make dance music and things were really rigid and structured. But the first half of a tune is usually sort of a verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and then when I get that settled and I feel good about the melody and the sort of lyrical format, that's when I move into building out the rest of the song. So once I kind of figured out what this song was supposed to be about and kind of contextualized that, a lot of it started coming together, and then it was just a matter of building out sort of a melody on the back of the rest of it. So so I'm not sure if the best thing to do right now would be to play part of it to give you that context. But do you have any questions right now?
I told you I am so horrible at questions.
Okay,
Like
pressure.
really bad at them.
No, you don't have to. So I have a bunch of like questions. People were like, I can't make the live stream, but I have
Mhm.
questions. Maybe
Well, that
I'll
would be cool
maybe I'll take
because
a
they
couple.
probably have questions I would have thought of, but
Yeah,
can never voice.
yeah. I have one question asker. Monica, if you're out there, you are the ultimate question asker, and I'm trying to decide which one of your questions I should answer because you've sent me a bunch, and it's been a long time since I promised you I'd do this, and we're finally doing it. Um, so let's see. I think so. Monica wants to know how far emotionally I go into my songs. Um, I think for the most part, like especially with Mosaics, that first album, uh, really deep. I was like exploring a lot of darker sides of things I'd been feeling in the past and trying to kind of present them in a way that wasn't just like a total Debbie Downer, but had a little bit of edge and truth into what it's like to have regrets and what it's like to be sort of a bit of a mess and stuff like that. Um, since that time and for touring for like 3 years with those songs, I've actually made it a point to try to write happier music because people ask me all the time. They're like, do you have any happy songs? And it's not that I'm unhappy, it's just that for a long time uh, the well I was drawing from was sort of a darker material. So I'd say in those songs I try to get as honest as possible emotionally, even when it was uncomfortable, because I thought that that's where really interesting things happen. And it's not that I'm not getting as emotional in the newer songs. I think that I'm still drawing from like deep emotional wells, but I'm trying to get a bit more, um, trying to make it more interpretive. I think I'm constantly striving to send messages about what I'm feeling about certain things. I mean, this song is like, pretty vulnerable because I'm basically telling everybody out loud that I'm afraid of letting people down. I think the fear of failure is something that like a lot of people don't talk about. So yeah, I guess I am still doing that, but I also am sort of masking it behind a sort of a love song, and I think that that's something I want to play with more going forward. Is a little bit of ambiguity that leaves more open to interpretation. Because I think the fun thing about a song is not me telling you what it's about; it's about what it makes you feel. So hopefully that answers that a little bit. Um, this is sort of like related to that question. Like, is there any limit to what I say is not appropriate, or and if I edit songs before I show them to people? I mean, definitely. Like, I'm a human being, and I think that like to some degree, I'm not going to sit on the table like an open book, like completely. Like I'll show pages, but uh, I think there's something to maintaining a little bit of mystery and a little bit of a little private space is just for you and for no one else. I have a couple friends that I can count on fingers in the world where I can like tell them anything, and they don't judge me for it, and that's super awesome. But I still think there's little pools within all of us um, that we kind of keep for ourselves. So I definitely don't. There definitely is a little bit of a limit, but I try to get as honest as I possibly can. Let's see. I had a question about how my college shaped me as an artist. So I went to school to study acting, study theater, and I went to the complete wrong school for that. I went to Cal, and it was a very good school for science and engineering and business. It was not a great school for the arts. And at the time, I didn't know that music was a possibility. I'd always written songs on the piano, but I never really thought that I should like study it or pursue it. Looking back, I regret not going to a smaller like art school and actually learning the ins and outs of music theory because I still don't know how to read music. I still don't know music theory. I'm slowly trying to teach myself. And I know you are too, Michelle, right? Doing like when you can. Yeah. And it's like
Yeah.
I look at it, it's like an alien language, and I just so envious of people that just understand like, oh yeah, that chord goes there, that chord goes here, and here's why. Um, my friends in college who studied music always told me no, no, you've got it better because you're not thinking in terms of boxes and you're doing things intuitively. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's important to have the knowledge, but as far as how it shaped me, um, it definitely made me care less about my track in life because I mean I studied theater and I studied rhetoric, which is basically bullshit and bullshit. So I you know after school I was like I'm not equipped to go out and start making tons of money. So in some ways in some ways it allowed me to have a clean slate to just try to pursue life in music and other things. But it hasn't really influenced my music that hardcore outside of just my general outlook on life and disillusionment of the track we're all put on where we are supposed to go to college and supposed to get this great job right afterwards and then slowly build up enough money to buy the big house with the picket fence and yada yada yada. I just don't that track isn't for me. I don't judge other people like for going on that, but I feel like if I'd studied something else and was on that track, Cal would have been a better school for me. But at the same time, I made lifelong friends, some of who are on this platform and some of who have been supporting me since the get-go. And I wouldn't trade that for the world. So personally, not an issue. Sorry, I kind of rambled on that one. Um, let's see. I think that's any general thoughts on music and art. Um, I have lots of thoughts on that. I think without like boring the hell out of everyone, I think one thing I'll share here that doing art for a living, something that's so subjective, can oftentimes feel like very futile. And I think that that goes back to like kind of like the meat and potatoes of this song I'm going to show you. Um, there's a lot of forgetting all the voices that say you can't do that, this isn't possible, you know, you haven't become famous in 10 years, you should drop it, or you don't want to turn out like so and so who's been pursuing it their whole life and now is like playing in like the corner of a ski resort or something. I think I think that it's a really weird way to make a living because the only person you have to answer to at the end of the day is yourself as to whether or not you want to keep going down the rabbit hole. For me, music makes me super happy, and being creative professionally is my main goal. So to me, anytime I'm doing that, I feel like it's a success. I don't care about fame. I don't really care about money that much outside of just having enough to put gas in the tank and keep going where I need to go. Um, and I say that definitely from a place of privilege where if I like lost everything, I could go move in with my parents and stuff. And I know that everybody doesn't have that luxury, but my needs are like very simple and I'm extremely ambitious, but I'm not doing music to be famous. I feel like if people are trying to become a star, they're in it for the wrong reasons. That's my general thought on music and art in general. And this line I worked into the song sort of encapsulates that idea where I just say, and even when times get tough, I know I'll always have your love, and that alone is enough. I'm gonna make you proud. It really is enough for me just to know that a couple of people care about what I'm doing, or that I've affected a couple of people's lives for the better, or if I've inspired, um, like even three people. It's that's enough, honestly, to make me feel like it was all worth it. And I get that every time I go on the road and I play for people in person, people will come up to me and tell me that they're inspired by what I do, or that they've always wanted to do it and now feel like maybe it's a possibility. Like that, that's what makes me really happy. So that's sort of my general thought in on art and music. Um, it's more about giving back than what you can get. So I'm gonna just I think I am gonna just play through the whole song, and then maybe I'll take some questions. And Michelle, and for anybody who's watching this later, this is a draft, all right. And I have a tendency to sit with drafts for like ever. I'm trying to change that tendency and just put things out there. So this is the first time I'm going to be playing this live. And Michelle, you're catching this in person. So hopefully, hopefully I won't let you down on this one. Um, so I'm gonna I have to look at my own lyrics, as sad as that is, because I've not committed this to memory. I've not played it the requisite 1,000 times to remember. But yeah, I think it's probably better if I just show and stop telling, and then I'll talk about it afterwards. All right, so here it is. So I'm gonna see if I can. Can you hear that, Michelle? Loud enough? Okay. Some say I say a little too much sometimes. Some say that's all I'm really doing right. And I'm honored by the burden you give me, even when I can't see what you're seeing in me. And someday, if I ever see old age, I'll look back on my life. I'll remember the way you believed. And even when times get tough, I know I'll always have your love. And that alone is enough. I'm gonna make you proud. I won't let you down. I won't let you down. I won't let you down. No, no, no. I won't let you down. And if I stumble, if I'm ever down on my luck, and they call me crazy for never giving up, well, they can keep talking and wonder when enough is enough. 'Cause all I need is just one reason to get back up. And someday, when I've let my hair turn gray, I'll look back on my life. I'll try to trace the way you could see something in me, some kind of diamond in the rough. Or maybe that was diamond dust that shimmered on the wind when you picked me up. I won't let you down. I won't let you down. I won't let you down. No, no, no. Oh, whatever happens and whatever comes next, I can't tell you how we'll get there, but we'll do our best with whatever tomorrow brings. I can't tell the future, but all that matters in the end is that Paul and John were lying to us when they said love is all you need. La, 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 la. I won't let you down. No. La 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 la. I won't let you down. I won't let you down. I won't let you down. Oh, oh, oh. All right. So that was yeah, a little bit stumbly. That was my my first time playing that out loud, which is really crazy. Michelle, what do you think?
You are going to record that sometime soon, maybe,
Yeah,
right?
I think so. I think I'm trying to figure out if I should release a like produced version of it because I hear all these harmonies, you know, like especially like the ending part where it's like, you know, what's down, oh, oh, I want that four-part sort of classic Rocky type harmony, and
Mhm.
I just feel like Mosaics was fun to like do everything raw and put them acoustically, but I feel like maybe reversing it this time and doing like the produced version first and then releasing like a version where I'm just playing on acoustic, you know?
Yes, I know. And oh my goodness, like just listening to that, that sounds like something I would say to my mom, and
Oh,
yet something I would say to my daughter as well, to my daughters, not just one of them, but all three of them.
only your
You
favorite
know?
one.
Yeah, all of it. Because you know, as a parent, that's the way you feel. You don't ever want to let your children down,
Yeah,
and you, that is just so encompassing. It's not just one thought or just one feeling. It's like anyone can feel that way about anyone in their life.
yeah.
Is- and that's you know.
Well, so glad you feel that way because that's what I was hoping. You know that this could be
Mhm.
just yeah, a song for anyone you just literally don't want to let down. I think we all feel like that, you know, throughout our lives. I feel that way about my parents too. Like you know, I'm like they've never told me once I couldn't pursue music as a career, but you know the thought crosses my mind sometimes that like what if I'm like you know 65 and they're just like oh man he never you know he's just playing acoustically on Zoom like nothing's changed and we're still in a pandemic 20 years later you know like what if that
It's
happened.
not being a pandemic 20 years later.
Hmm. Oh, we'll be out of this
I
soon.
don't want to be in a pandemic 20 years later.
No well no that was I should not have even said that
Oh,
we won't be there
no.
but yeah like I think
No.
it makes me really really happy to hear that you felt that because like I think too with songs like some of my favorite songs are where you take a really sort of simple specific idea you know that's not just like your eyes are beautiful I love you something that's just a bit more nuanced that's just like that every human can feel that's where I think it's fun to like you know lyrics and songs where they can go inside somebody and they can feel it from their own point of view and that's why I don't
Oh
like
yeah.
to talk about songs you know.
Yeah, that this is definitely one of those ones. It just hits. That's what they do.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, they hit. So it's beautiful. And
Thank
yes, I would like to hear it produced, but I certainly love it acoustic too. It's amazing. Hello, sir. It's the OSUPD.
Oh my goodness.
He came to see my boss.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Where's that in your face?
yeah, it's amazing. I really like it a lot, and I think
well maybe I will put
everyone
out
that hears it is gonna like it.
thank you so well
Yeah.
maybe I'll put out a maybe I should just do a like a rough demo version so like you guys could just listen to it like you know just kind of sit with it for a little bit you know I think you might I don't know if you were following the lyrics along I changed some stuff on the fly and this is usually like the
I,
last part of my process is just like little details like that um but yeah and also like you know I was debating too with that bridge I kind of wanted to, I don't know why, but for some reason I heard it kind of coming close to that sort of like kind of Hey Jude type chorus, you know? Not like or is that Hey Jude or is that na 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 Hey Jude? Yeah, it's the same type of chord progression. Again, if I knew music theory, I could tell you what that why that is the way it is, but instead I'm just like, oh, the Hey Jude chord progression. And so I thought it would be a cool way to call out to the Beatles and to get to the heart of the song, which is that all you need is love. It's true, you know. You don't need money, you don't need fame, you don't need everything else. You just need somebody to believe in you. And I think the other side to you feeling like you don't want to let someone down is that, right? It's like, you know, as a mom, I'm sure that like if your kids feel that way, you're like, no, 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 I love you no matter what. And that's super powerful. That's the thing that I'm trying to bottle in this, the essence I'm trying to bottle in this one. Um, so it's a happy song. I did it.
You did it, and I think you bottled it quite well. So
Thank you. Thanks. Well, that's cool. I'm so glad you were here, Michelle, because it would have been so lame to play it live for the first time just to an empty audience. But I I think this will be cool for kind of people to see this. Not now. I'm kind of wondering if like to people on the platform who haven't heard it, maybe I should just like upload like a iPhone memo. Maybe that would be better, so people could just kind of sit with it.
would that work on a app? And it's not an Apple, it's a Android.
Yeah, yeah. Have you recorded demos on your phone?
I can't sing.
We don't know that. I've
I
never.
don't sing, actually. I shouldn't say I can't, because you never know what you can do until you try.
Yeah.
But I have never tried, and so, but I play and record when I play sometimes.
You should record. You sent me a recording before though, haven't you? Like was that via GarageBand or via your phone? Yeah. So I see you use the phone. Yeah. This thing is full of voice memos. I have like a million voice memos where I'm just like, do 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 do. You know, there's so many melodies that are just like, you know, I always like joke that I'm like feel like a melody farmer or something. I'm just like stockpiling piles of it. And that's part of why I'm always like, damn, I need to put more music out because it like and faster because there's like a lot of stuff floating in there. I think it's easy to ideate. It's really hard to like take an idea and finish it, like flesh it out. So I'm glad about this one. So maybe now that I've finally played it, you know, in public, now that someone else has heard it in the world, maybe I'll play this one on Sunday and like start playing it in the regular repertoire, you know? So I'm gonna do a show on Sunday. So, yeah, that'd be kind of fun, actually.
It'll be totally fun, and I'm, you know, not being entirely selfish about getting to hear it again. But I could.
Maybe I should do this more often. Maybe this would help me tie up more songs if I could be like, even if I'm debuting a half-finished one, because I did that songwriter exercise on that my friend on Twitter told me to do, and there's some cool things that came out of that like, you know, in a day I'm not gonna finish a song, but I mean, I guess there's no downside to showing you guys like a half-finished work, you know.
I don't think so. I think it gives us more of an insight and more of a connection to you and to the process and to what you're doing, and we're always curious about that.
Yeah.
You know, we always want to know, you know, where are you at with this? How did you do that? Wait, what? You know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's pretty cool.
All right, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that like in like a week or two. Maybe I'll schedule another one. There's a song on there, the song that I wrote in that exercise that I thought was really fun. And it's funny, some of these newer songs, at least on acoustic, to me they're kind of starting to sound a little bit, I don't want to say country, but a little bit more like rootsy. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Because the stuff I did on that Mosaics record, I guess some of it did as well, like Still a Liar and stuff. But I really came from like more of a like soul jazz place, so it's kind of funny to play this more classic rock sound in this song. But I also should share pretty soon the produced version that I've been working on behind the scenes, because I basically like something I've always wanted to do for a really long time with my music is put out acoustic versions or band versions that are just organic sounding, and then doing these like electronica counterparts, because there's just so many different ways a song can feel depending on how it's produced, you know?
You can like do the whole track over yourself and harmonize with yourself when you're actually doing all of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking too, it'd be fun to do like a performance. I have a sample pad and I have Ableton. So I can like trigger scenes that have like pre-recorded backup vocals at certain parts and sounds. So I could like do like a thing that's a little bit more beefy than just acoustic guitar. Like it's I like playing acoustic, but it would be fun to just switch it up and do some kind of wild sounds, stuff that's a little bit more dancey too, you know? Um, my friend Ren played a show yesterday with her full funk band. They all had masks on and they were 10 feet apart, and it just sounded awesome. I mean, they sounded fantastic. So since we're stuck like doing shows online, might as well lean into it, you know? Start getting crazy with it
And having lots of fun with it.
and having lots of fun with it. That's the key that a lot of people miss out on. They're like, "Oh, I hate this. I hate this." I'm like, "Well, you can hate it, or you can just like learn to have fun with it," which is so true, you know? I think we have fun at Cornito O'Malley's and stuff. You know, we try to.
I have all kinds of fun and all kinds of silly things happen. It's wonderful and I love it.
I know. I felt bad about rescheduling the last one. Did you read the story of what happened? So late.
Uh-huh.
I'm so dumb. I had a really fun birthday though. That's the good news.
Lesson learned, do not pick up boulders.
Oh my god. I turned into a caveman for like 30 seconds, and I was just like, me able to pick up boulder, me try. So dumb. I don't know why. I guess we all have many different sides to our personalities, and that sadly is one of mine, I guess. So I think I might just, at the risk of making this go too long, I might just answer a couple more questions unless you have any. And you know, if you do at any point, you know, just flag me down, point a gun at me, whatever you want. I
I
got
have one thing.
yeah. What
I
was it?
can't access the file with the lyrics.
Oh, you can't. Well, that's not fun. Well, why
You
don't I?
have to change the sharing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, by default on Google Docs, it's locked so that people can't even view it, even if they have the link. You have to change it.
Oh, that's super annoying. Anyone with a link, got it. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, let's try this one. Did that work or Cool. Oh, there you are. I see you. Cool. Yeah, so this is the working draft. You know, I mean, at this point, the skeleton and I'd say it's more than a skeleton. I'd say it's a body, but the hair color might be changing, the eye color might be changing. We there's certain little details that I always get really hung up on. For a long time, I got really hung up on this line right here. Like, so I make a little fun of myself here, a little good self-deprecation. Someday when I let my hair turn gray, fun fact, my hair is pretty gray. But what's funny is that in 2017 when I let it go totally gray, everybody thought I dyed it, and I was like, this is annoying. So I just went back to dark. People were like, I love the gray highlight thing you did. And I'm like, that's not a highlight. So this is just kind of funny because I also feel like in the music industry, people are so obsessed with looking young that I thought I'd work that line in someday when I've let my hair turn gray, to indicate that I'm really old and not just not just old faking young. And then this line right here, and I'll try to trace the way you could see some kind of diamond in the rough, or maybe just some diamond dust that shimmered on the wind when you picked me up. I was trying to, I don't know if that totally makes sense, you know? Like, I think that the sentiment makes sense, but that's like one line that I'm still not totally sure about. Just kind of wanted to indicate the idea that, you know, somebody might see something that you don't see in yourself, and that, you know, when they find you, maybe it's not like that they're actually a diamond, but maybe they just see some little tiny thing that makes you special or makes you worth believing in, rather than being like, you know, you're an undiscovered gem, you know, because I definitely don't think of myself in that light. And maybe that's why that line feels weird. I don't want it to come off like like, oh, you believed in me when no one else did, and you were right because I'm fucking awesome. That's not at all what I'm trying to communicate in that line. It's more just you you see a little glimmer of something in certain people, and that's what draws you to them. Um, and when that's all it takes, it's some amazing things can happen. But I don't know if I'm articulating that right there. I've never done a deep dive into my songs like this. It's kind of crazy to show people this. Oh, you're muted right now. I can't hear you.
I was pushing the space bar, but I was looking at the dock, and it was the last thing that was active on the screen, so
Oh,
it
got it,
wasn't
got it.
talking. But it feels right though, and what you're saying makes sense. You know, I mean, not everybody's going to be that uncut diamond in the rough. When you see them, it's just going to be that little spark, and that little spark is more than enough when the feelings that you have are genuine and real.
Yeah,
That's all that ever takes. They don't ever have to turn into this big, giant, crazy thing
yeah,
to have that love.
yeah.
They shouldn't have to. So I mean, it feels right to me anyway. And
No,
that's why.
that's great to hear. As I think that's a large part of like another thing I'm trying to get at is the truth of it, like not the pop star top 40 version of what it means to be a musician, but the truth of life is that nobody's perfect. It's like the truth of life is that we learn to love imperfections in other people and their humanness, not how perfect they are. Um, but I think that like that's tied into that whole idea of like failure, like what it means to be a failure, and what is enough in life, like do you need to have like all the money in the world, do you need to have all the friends in the world, all the eyeballs in the world, or what's enough for you. And I think I had this friend, I did a like solo guerrilla style tour way back in 2014 maybe. I was just a little disillusioned with the band I was in because I felt like we were running our wheels, and and I decided to do a solo tour around Europe and Scandinavia, because I had that Swedish commercial. I don't know if I ever shared that in like Patreon, but I like sang a Stevie Wonder cover and played an insurance agent in a Swedish television commercial that got kind of big out in Scandinavia. So like people were like downloading the song, and so I had like a little bit of a buzz around me out there during that time. And as this coincided with sort of like band issues, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go do a solo tour and see what I can do and get to Scandinavia to try to like capitalize on being semi-known out there. And and I fell in with this group randomly of like these awesome Swedish people who totally took me in and housed me and showed me all around. And one of them was a singer, and her name is Kasia, and she told me that in Sweden there's a saying that I will totally butcher if I try to say it in Swedish or if I try to say it even what it meant. But the idea was that basically life is about having enough, not anything more, not anything less. It's about having enough. And that stuck with me forever. Like I always think about that. That was years ago now, and I always think about that like concept. This is so true. It's like you don't need like a mansion, You need a roof over your head that functions and keeps you warm in the winter and blah 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 blah. You don't need like so many people think they need all this crap, and life's so much more simple than that. Um, so
It is so much more simple. You need your family, you need love, you need to be believed in.
yeah,
You need to love and to believe in other people.
yeah.
So we really don't need much, and to pay the bills because you have to.
Michelle, can I feature the talking portion that you're doing on like an interlude at some point? It reminds me of. Did you ever listen to like the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill? There's like an interlude that's awesome where they're talking about love with a bunch of kids in a classroom, and the kids are like saying what they think love means, and they're just playing this like beautiful music behind it, and it's awesome. It's kind of cool to hear like thoughts like that on an interlude, but I won't do that without asking. Maybe I'll run it by you and be like, hey, can we put this as an interlude? It'd be kind of fun. I also think it's something more people need to hear, honestly, you know? So,
I wasn't.
oh, what was that?
I was muted when I said that. I said it would be fun, and I would be on it.
All right, cool. All right. I'm gonna think about that actually. Like how I could work that in. I think that'd be really fun. So I'm going to conclude shortly. I'm trying to get better about this because I have a tendency to ramble on and on. Some say I say a little too much sometimes. Um, and I'll answer like one more question maybe. Um, so these questions are mostly about how how I feel about this song in general that I'm doing right now, and if I'm still into music and if I'm still working on beats. I feel, to be totally honest with you, especially after Michelle's reaction just now, I feel very excited about this song because I think it's very different from things I've normally done. And honestly, I'm just excited to have new music because I've been playing some of the songs I've been playing for a long time. Um, and and I am also making beats on the side. I've actually already started playing with a version of this that's like produced, that's got a trap beat, which is kind of fun on the chorus. So I'm hoping when you guys hear it after hearing the acoustic version, you'll be like, I was not expecting that. Um, and in conclusion, I will just say that I really, you know, this song is obviously it got a lot of different ideas in it, but at the heart of it, if I'm being totally honest with you guys, it's really a love letter to people who support me, whether that's my mom, whether that's my dad, whether that's you guys, whether that's anybody who's ever believed in me at any point in this journey. Um, it means the absolute world. So thank you for your support and for tuning in. And you guys are the reason that I make music, and I mean that in the least cheesy way possibly, even if that's impossible to not sound cheesy. So I will see you guys and Michelle. I say you guys, I'm addressing people who might watch this later. Michelle and crew, maybe I'll see you on Sunday at the show. I think I'm going to be playing at 5 p.m. PT. So I think that's 7 Central. I'm starting to memorize the time zones now that I'm in Montana because I'm 1 hour behind you, and you're Central Time, right? Yeah. So I'm Mountain Time. Yeah, so it'll be 7 time Central and 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys there. Michelle, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, it's awesome to see you and talk to you. And in lieu of actual being in Stillwater, but we'll get to that down the road. Some good news coming out about vaccines. Maybe we'll get there sooner than later. You know?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Be safe.
Bye.